Well, it's finally over. Well, it was actually over weeks ago, but now it's official. On December 8th, 2024, the New York Jets were eliminated from playoff contention. Um, they were defeated by the Miami Dolphins, 32-26 in overtime, and that ended their season. So Aaron Rodgers' season ended with an overtime loss where he did not see the ball in the extra period. That definitely sounds familiar. So yeah, the worst. I wouldn't say the worst is over, but for the Jets, it never really is. Um, to properly detail the depths of this, we have to turn back the clock, shall we? The date, January 4th, 2003. The New York Jets during the 2002 season won the AFC East. I remember this. I remember this very well because it was kind of a shock to see the Jets win a division, considering the Patriots at that time were coming off winning the Super Bowl for the first time. That crazy year where this guy named Tom Brady came out of nowhere and led the Patriots to winning Super Bowl 36. Um, but yeah, the Jets took the East and they hosted the wild card playoff and blasted the Indianapolis Colts. I remember that well too. The Jets season ended at the hands of the then Oakland Raiders, who went on to Super Bowl 37. So yeah, this was January 4th, 2003. You know how long ago that was? That game was on ABC Sports. And yes, it was ABC Sports at the time. Because now anything on ABC is ESPN on ABC. But at that time, ABC Sports was its own entity. I remember that very well. They had a lot of amazing stuff, including the wide world of sports, of course, which included the late great John Saunders. I remember him, very great sports reporter. And that year, the 2002 season, that was a year that the divisions realigned to what we see now, and the Houston Texans made their debut. So yeah, that's how long ago. That's how long ago this was. That game, that wild card playoff game, that was their last home playoff game to date, and that was at the old Giants Stadium. Yeah, that was it. The old Giants Stadium. MetLife hadn't existed yet. That's how long ago that was. The date, January 23rd, 2011. I fondly remember the 2010 season for obvious reasons, but one of them was the Jets sneaking their way into the sixth seed of the postseason. Of course, back then it was six teams that made it, two wild cards. And of course, they were coming off a crazy year where they were a wild card and they somehow made it to the AFC Championship game where the Colts beat them out. They loved making that deep run so much they decided to do it again, and that run actually included when they advanced to the divisional round. They faced the top seeded Patriots and they beat them in Foxborough. They beat the Brady Belichick Patriots to reach the AFC Championship again, but this time the Steelers were waiting for them, and the Steelers beat them out. So yeah, that was January 23rd, 2011. That remains, as of now, the last playoff game that the Jets were playing, meaning that the last playoff win they had was against the Brady Belichick Patriots. Yeah, here's how long ago that was. The Jets' current quarterback won the Super Bowl that year over those same Steelers, Super Bowl 45. Speaking of the Jets' current quarterback, let's talk about him, shall we? How I remember the buzz when Rodgers joined the Jets. I also remember not liking it because I still now don't like that he went to the Jets because that was Brett Favre's path, and I didn't want him copying Favre. But yeah, so he went to the Jets, and that was a big deal. Of course, when 2023 started, Jet fans had playoff spots and Super Bowl appearance in their eyes, but four plays in, it was over. Now, they did manage to do decently well with Zach Wilson. They finished 7-10, same record they had in 22. That boosted Jets fans' confidence even more because they figured, hey, we won 7 games. it was supposed to be with Rodgers, but we won 7 games with Zach Wilson. When Rodgers returns next year, which is this year, 2024, when Rodgers returns in 24, forget the playoffs and the division, we're going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, Jets fans had the Super Bowl in their vision when Rodgers was healthy and returning. He got his fifth play. But it wouldn't lead to much. Rodgers decided to turn the team into his own personal pet project. He brought in his ex-teammates from Green Bay. He had Robert Saleh fired. He threw pretty much everybody under the bus. And his play regressed badly because I saw the signs in his last season with us. And it's getting worse. This game, where ironically the Jets were eliminated, that's the first time he threw for over 300 as a Jet in his first 300-yard game since December 2021. Yeah, so, and I'm not saying Rodgers is the only one to blame, but he was one of them. There were a lot of problems with this team, but he was the main one. Not just with his regression, but with how he'd been conducting himself. He basically, like I said, he was a dictator on that team. It was his way or the highway, and it's just been a mess. He had Saleh fired all to win 1 game since they fired him, and now on December 8th, 2024, 6 days after Rodgers turned 41, the Jets' season is over. 14 years now. 14 years without a postseason. That is the longest current playoff drought in sports. Not by much, though. It's barely ahead of the Buffalo Sabres, but that's another story. Trust me. So, again, the season of embarrassment is over, but the worst when it comes to the Jets, it never is. So, and here's how bad it is. They have to win out to match the record they had last year with Zach Wilson. Yeah, it's very bad. And Rodgers may be back with this team next year. So we'll see how that goes. But they need an actual coach because that Obrick character's not cutting it. So I just wanted to kind of talk about what this, because it's a big deal, because ever since Saleh got fired, a lot of people have been kind of following the Jets' downfall, and it's been ugly. So, and I did write about it. The link to my story on Vocal is right up top. Check it out. So, that is my video. If you like this video, click the like button. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe for more. If you're on TikTok, feel free to hit that follow button. And I'll be back on Tuesday to recap the rest of this crazy week, this first full football week in December. So stay tuned.